Seeing him walk out every single time is really hard. It's very, very hard, but I wanted him to look me in the face.
Nearly a year later, the pain is still there for a family of a Chesapeake teen killed by a drunk driver. Tonight, the man behind the wheel admits his guilt in court. And that is our top story this Tuesday night. I'm David Allen.
And I'm Regina Mobley. We've been following this tragedy since it happened last May. Today, Gerard Johnson entered his guilty pleas to a long list of charges in the crash that left Caitlin Duffy dead and Sabrina Mundorf seriously hurt. Tonight, Duffy's family is speaking to 13 News Now reporter Stephen Graves.
He joins us live tonight from Virginia Beach. Stephen.
Hey guys, they say with this guilty plea they're not completely satisfied, but it is a step forward. They say if there is a glimmer of hope through this year, they've seen the lasting legacy their daughter will have. Caitlin Duffy's mom and dad never miss a day in court for their daughter's killer, so today would be no different, as today was a step toward closure.
Seeing him walk out every single time is really hard. It's very, very hard, but I wanted him to look me in the face.
Maybe Tammy Duffy would see some type of regret in the drunk driver who killed the Great Bridge senior and permanently disabled her classmate and friend Sabrina Mundorf.
And I would love an apology.
But almost a year later, Johnson pleaded guilty to not only DUI, but aggravated involuntary manslaughter, possession of cocaine, hit and run.
I don't think it's from the heart.
Regardless, Caitlin is on her family's hearts each hearing. They say time hasn't healed much, but knowing their daughter's legacy lives on helps.
To have, the platform of no drinking and driving, and, I think that's where my future may be.
The teen's stance on anti-bullying has inspired letters from other students written to her parents. Duffy's desire to follow her mother's footsteps of becoming a nurse has inspired a scholarship. It's already raised more than $20,000, and a golf tournament held this month aims to get that total even higher.
Within 10 days, we had, 36 whole sponsors.
Her parents say what makes this process easier is having comfort. Scott Duffy says he had a dream about his daughter. He prayed for his wife that she would have one too. And last Easter, it finally came.
And I don't ever dream, but the first thing she said to me was, "I'm happy, Mom." That was the first thing she said.
And right now, both victims' families actually have plans to sue the company Johnson worked for as he was driving a truck when this fatal crash happened. Now, his sentencing is scheduled for September. He faces a maximum of 47 years in prison. Duffy's family hopes he gets the maximum. Reporting in Virginia Beach, Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
All right, right now, day 2 of the Leonard Morrison murder trial is wrapping up. He's accused of taking part in a double murder in Virginia Beach. Prosecutors say it was a drug deal gone wrong in which Morrison and an accomplice killed John Regina and Ray Von Miles last summer. The defense argued there is no physical evidence tying Morrison to the shootings. He faces 2 charges of first-degree murder.
He has a gun! He has a gun!
The video right there is dramatic. A Portsmouth police officer opening fire on DeAntrace Ward. Tonight we're learning the Portsmouth Commonwealth's attorney is taking herself off of that case. Stephanie Morales calls it a conflict of interest to prosecute Ward while investigating the police shooting. Suffolk's Commonwealth's attorney now picks up that case. The video obtained by the Virginian Pilot shows an officer shooting Ward as he's running away. Police were running after him while investigating a burglary.
Let's switch gears here, taking you live outside a beautiful day for a stroll or a bike ride at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. A couple of people soaking up the sun on the boardwalk. Things are even warmer on the peninsula.
Looking live at the campus of William and Mary right there. Within the past hour, they hit 86 degrees in Williamsburg. Wow. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson here to tell us how the rest of the evening's shaping up. 86.
I know. Inland areas, as you just mentioned, a little bit warmer because of the effect of the ocean or the bays or whatever. So now we're going to be talking about temperatures that are dropping back to some pretty comfortable levels. And then over the next several days, it is going to get very warm once again. Not a cloud in the sky, and any of the sky views we have shown you not only yesterday, but again today as well. So obviously nothing on radar, although we always like to double check. Nothing popping up west of us, for example, in central Virginia. Right now, we are down again. We were 78 last hour, 81 the hour before that. Now we're down to 76, so very pleasant winds. A little bit of a breeze southeasterly at 11 miles per hour, eventually switching around to the southwest. But over the next 6 hours, we're going to drop it back again. Really comfortable readings. I mean, we start off way up here and then gradually we start to come down, so that overnight we're going to be talking 50s, which is a little cool, but not nearly as cool as the 40s that we saw last night. So where do we go from here? Sort of what's the bottom line, if you will? Well, we just told you I'm going to call that comfortable. I think most of you would agree with me. Even warmer for tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. The warmth, however, eases by the weekend, and with the approaching cold front, it's not a strong one, but it will stall out over the area and cause some rain chances. That's what we'll talk about, especially the weekend outlook, when I return.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Vote 2018. You've seen the yard signs. Now it is your turn to choose your local leaders.
Right now, polls are open in Hampton, Newport News, Chesapeake, and Norfolk. All of them have city council and school board seats that are up for grabs. This is the first time neighbors in Norfolk will choose their own school board members. In Chesapeake, a historic election, not only is Mayor Rick West defending his seat, but 7 out of the 9 city council members are as well. 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee has been at the polls all day. Jacqueline, not much of a turnout.
No, not really, Regina. So every time we've talked with voters who walked out, they told us that there weren't a lot of people casting their ballots inside. And it turns out low voter turnout in local elections is actually pretty typical. When Nadine Smith cast her vote today,
there was one other person there. Sad, huh?
She noticed there weren't a lot of ballots being checked. 18-year-old Brady Sullivan noticed too.
It's kind of disappointing. I'd like to see more people come out.
Turnout in local elections is always a bit lackluster. On average, only about 12 to 14% of registered voters in Chesapeake actually make it out to local election polls.
It's historically been that way. It's always kind of fallen behind federal level and state level.
ODU Assistant Professor Benjamin Molesky said a lot of people don't view local elections as important.
For most part, it's just another election in the middle of the year when people are busy and the weather's turning nicer, they want to get outside. Now you're asking them to come vote.
Typically, there's higher voter participation in November. So I spoke with Heath Covey from the city of Chesapeake, asking why they don't hold all elections in November.
The simple answer to why we do elections in May is because we always have.
While he said low voter turnout is concerning, nothing is changing as far as the date of local elections, though he did highlight how important they are.
The people that are running today are the people who are making the laws and the regulations and the ordinances that affect your lives more directly.
A sentiment this voter says he knows all too well.
There's a lot of people who gave their all for us to vote. That's the very least I can do, is to come and vote.
So if you live in Chesapeake and you saw that and you're thinking, I want to vote, I want to increase the voter turnout numbers, you still have time. The polls close at 7. Live in Chesapeake, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
Voters in Newport News will decide if Mayor McKinley Price will keep his seat. 13 News Now at McIntosh Elementary School as voters cast their ballots today. Price faces 3 challengers. Councilmen Marcellus Harris, Dominic Green, and Santil Creekmore are all fighting to be mayor of Newport News.
Now, from the timer on your screen, you can see that time is running out to vote. Polls close at 7. If you are in line by the time the polls close, you can still cast your ballot. But based on the turnout, we don't think long lines will be a problem.